All right, it's Friday. You know what time it is. Welcome to the second edition of Mike Check in 2022. We have some very hot topics today, so let's get right to it. Joining me this week is former pro football player and licensed therapist, Jay Barnett, looking a lot like Shaft today. Go ahead, boy. John Shaft, he's a bad mother youth. No, anyway. Political strategist Jaha Howard in the house as well. Good morning and welcome, gentlemen. Yeah, shut your mouth. Keep your mouth open. Keith Reed is also going to join us a little bit later on. He is the co-host of the Run Tell That podcast. But let's get right into it, fellas, because we got to talk about the NFL, man. Black head coaches just don't last long in the NFL. Ron Flores surprisingly fired by the Miami Dolphins earlier this week. Yesterday, Houston Texans fired their head coach, David Culley, after just one season. Guys, we got one black head coach currently in the NFL out of 32 teams, and that's Mike Tomlin, who's been there for 15 years. So, Jay, you played the game. I'm starting off with you. We seem to talk about this every single year when it comes to head coaches. What is going on, and how do we get past this?
Same old song, Mike. Different year, brother. I think, we all know what the elephant in the room is that we don't have the same leash. We don't have the same, it's the same opportunity, and we also don't get the same type of support. These black coaches, you see these black coaches have anywhere from 1 to 2 years to prove themselves. And as you saw, the coach of Houston, Texas, only was given 1 year, right? Coach Judge of New York was given a couple of seasons, two or three seasons. So the same rules don't apply to us, man. And I think it's unfortunately. Even when you look at with the Rooney Rule, with them having to hire, or should I say not hire, but with them having to interview a coach of color, a coach of a different ethnicity, that tells you where the game of football is and where the system is. So we don't have the same rules, man.
And we don't have, like you said, we don't have the same opportunities, Jaha. It's one thing, it's hard enough to get hired, but then the opportunity to keep your job after a while. You talk about Culley, what he was inherited with Deshaun Watson, the situation that he was in, didn't play all season long because of the off-the-field issues that was going on, lost his star defensive player in J.J. Watt off that team as well. They didn't have the great receiver that they had at one time as well. And then you're talking about Brian Flores, who had 2 winning seasons there, 10-6 last year, and had a good season this year as well, almost made the playoffs, and they're both gone. So the opportunities aren't there for the coaches to keep their jobs once they get it as well, Jaha.
We're talking about one strike and you're out. One strike. And I'm glad y'all made that point already. I think another point on top of that is that this is a relationship business, just like all institutions. And when it comes to the ownership and the management, at the end of the day, people are going to go with a feel. What feels right? Where do I have this connection? And it just so happens, right, that there's not that connection with a lot of our black coaches. Now, we know that that's a half truth. So we got to tell the hard truth, man. At the end of the day, people got to get outside of their bubbles. If they want to win, they got to make sure that they are not just not just interviewing coaches of color, but hiring coaches of color. And not just hiring, but give them a chance to succeed. Listen to them. Follow a game plan. Give them a few years to see what they can do. But nope, we live in this society where it's like, I did it. I checked the box. I did it. I hired a black guy. Our stats are better. So now y'all can leave me alone for a few years. Now I can go back and hire who I'm comfortable with. This is a relationship problem that goes beyond the NFL. It's almost in every single institution, every company.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. It is a relationship. Go ahead, Jay.
So to add to that, right, the league is made of 75% black players. That alone should tell you that we should have more black coaches. The league is made of 75% black players. There should be more black GMs. You have to put more black personnel in a business that has a majority of black men. And I think this is the issue, man. The league does not, this is my belief, the league does not want to make that transition to where you have the representation that you have blacks in the front office, you have black personnel, and you have black coaches. You have a 75% league that has a game of black men, and you're having these white men, let's just be honest, try to coach these guys. They don't speak the language. They don't share the relatability, and they most definitely cannot inspire and encourage these guys. Say what you want, man, but those guys were playing for Brian Flores. And then going back to what you said, Mike, this coach inherits so much from the Deshaun Watson case. I'm surprised that the guy even stuck it out just from his personal, because he walked into a situation where the quarterback not only had this issue, but then he turned around, he had all of these different legal and civil suits, man. So give the guy a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to, and he won the same amount of games as they won last year when they had Deshaun Watson on the football team. Go ahead, Jaha. Last word on this.
You know what this is. The NFL is like, look, we did it. We got black people in commercials, and they're saying everything close to Black Lives Matter. We checked the box. See, y'all, we're good. We did it. Look at the NFL. Look at the Super Bowl performers. All of your favorite performers are back. We did it. So y'all look at this shiny thing over here. Don't worry about the ownership and the management. Well, later, a little bit later.
Watch what I do up here while they're doing something down there, man.
Yep, shining up. Look, you can put all those fancy slogans you want to in the end zone when it comes to equality and end racism and all that type of stuff. The NFL needs to put a mirror to itself right now and look at these owners out there, those 32 owners out there. And you know who I'm talking about. Well, 31, because we got one that is not all white, Shad Khan in Jacksonville. But the majority of the owners out there, they got an issue when it comes to race, hiring general managers and head coaches. I will note that the Miami general manager is a black man, and a lot of people made that apparent to me when it came down. Hey, he was fired by a black man who's no, he was not fired by that general manager. He was fired by Ross, who's the owner of the Miami Dolphins. Just because they got a general manager doesn't necessarily mean that a black general manager means that he was the one who actually fired that black head coach.